Hola, mi llamo Roberto.
Extreme. Kiss my ass. Championship.
I broke my back.
Podcast. All right.
Soy Fiesta.
Who do you think you are?
You absolutely suck.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Oh, good for you.
Oh God! Oh God! I'm running! Oh, yeah!
Welcome to Extreme Championship Podcast, being recorded on July the 6th in 2012, coming to your ears likely sometime in July 2013. Here with my friend Shane. Friday evening, you got to be feeling good.
Oh yeah, Weber. It's Extreme Championship Podcast, just ripping off the hot sports takes constantly, churning them out hour by hour, minute by minute,
Minute by minute.
second by second even. Just cranking them out like Japanese automobiles.
I feel like we're in a little bit of a low period for sports because I don't care about baseball. There's a lot of trade and kind of front office moves going on in the NBA right now. Other than that, I just don't care really about much of anything because we had, the Kings won the Stanley Cup. I don't think we've done a podcast since that happened.
Yeah, I like how there were a bunch of Kings fans for about a week. That was fun.
Oh yeah, and you live in Los Angeles, so I'm sure that is the case. There's just not much of a
Spectacular.
not much of a whisper about the Kings at this point, I imagine.
See, I work at a radio station too, the radio station that broadcasts all the Kings games. So it was fun seeing all of my hilarious bandwagon coworkers pretend they cared about hockey for about 5 minutes. And I would try to riff with them on hockey by the water cooler, you know what I mean, in the morning, by the coffee machine, try to talk a little LA Kings fever grip in the city. And they knew like 3 players, Jonathan Quick, Kopitar, Dustin Brown was a big one, and that was pretty much it. So
See, I'm not
so back into your holes, LA hockey fans.
I'm not the biggest hockey fan, but I don't pretend to be either. Like I'll tell people, in Boston, obviously I'm a Bruins fan, but I won't kind of pretend to be a big hockey fan. Even at work, I'd be like, yeah, I am a bandwagon hockey fan. I'm not going to try to fake being otherwise, because what's the point? Like, what is the point of that?
Good for you.
There's a bunch of rich guys.
That's how a lot of LA sports fans are in general. You know what I mean? And I know there are a lot of rabid Lakers fans out here, but I feel like half of them are just like in it because there's LA sports really has nothing else. You know what I mean? And so they just pretend they care about basketball and know about basketball, when in actuality, I mean, there are a lot of people out here that are legit sports fans and know what they're talking about. But there are definitely a lot. It's the LA culture in general. You know what I mean? But I actually play hockey. I play hockey up in the suburbs out here with a bunch of people, and those dudes grew up rooting for the Kings. And when they were at the Forum, would come down to LA and go to games when they were kids and stuff. So it was cool seeing them get all excited. But all the people that I work with and I associate, all the people that posted on Facebook like, "Yay, Kings!" It's like, bitch, tell me what icing is.
Bitch, please.
Bitch, please.
Where's the
Bitch,
blue
please.
line guy?
Tell me what offsides is, and then be posting about the Kings on your Facebook wall. Come on.
Come on.
You and I have had a lot going on in our personal lives.
We have. I did some traveling to a bachelor party and then to the greatest concert I've ever seen at the first annual, hopefully annual, more shows to come in the future, Orion Music and More Festival, which is basically 2 days worth of Metallica. Metallica's festival with other metal bands and other bands of Metallica headlining both nights, which was really, really cool. Best concert I've ever been to, most fun.
Awesome.
Go on and on about it. But I'm interested in hearing about your sports-related endeavor where you were able to, hopefully, and sounds like this is the case, get yourself into primetime television for the NFL's Monday Night Football this fall. That
yes,
is
sir.
pretty cool.
Yes, sir. It was actually Sunday Night Football.
Okay, Sunday.
But so yeah, just out of the blue, one of my buddies, he works out here. He kind of grew up in the film and television business and whatever. His dad was an editor and everything. So he started out, PAing, and now he's coordinating all these different shoots and productions and stuff like that. And he called me up out of the blue, and he was like, "Hey, man, I am coordinating the shoot for the Faith Hill intro for the Sunday Night Football on NBC this upcoming season. You know the intro I'm talking about, where Faith Hill is like walking along this like CGI cityscape while Larry Fitzgerald is making a catch and Tim Tebow is like spiking the ball into the side of a building and stuff. So he was like, we need some background musicians to play like her guitar player and her bass player and stuff to stand on stage with her. And he was like, I need you to do it. Are you down? So I was like, hell yeah. So we went down there, this big green screen studio, standing on stage with Faith Hill playing air guitar for about 7 hours straight to the Sunday Night Football theme song, which is now drilled into my skull. And it was a good experience. So yeah, hopefully you will see me on Sunday night. My beautiful face will be violently assaulting your living room every Sunday this upcoming football season.
Now that's
shredding tasty licks.
Now, you were just with Faith and the remainder of her band, so...
Just, honestly, the being able to stand behind Faith Hill while she was dancing in a short little miniskirt the entire time was totally worth the experience.
Swing!
She is a gorgeous, gorgeous woman.
Oh, my God.
That girl is like 40... She reminded me of Heidi Klum. You know what I mean? She's like 40-something years old, had a couple of kids, I think 3 kids maybe, and, dude, she is... tight. I mean tight, like supermodel tight. She is just on it.
She's magically babelicious.
And she's dancing around in this little mini skirt, curtsying and stuff. Oh, it was just fantastic, spectacular.
That's
experience
incredible.
I'll never forget.
I mean, think about that life, though, because part of her, I mean, she kind of is a supermodel. She's a singer, she's a musician, but that's really, it's the marketing. That's probably more, you call it more than half of the role is to be gorgeous. I mean, particularly when you're going to be starring, your job is to get that lead-in audience, and particularly
absolutely. And I mean,
not to
especially
mention
in
the
that
rest of her
culture,
career.
the country music culture. You know what I mean? That whole scene. It's that's the poppiest you can get. She had like a hair and makeup person that would literally like. We had to film a bunch of different segments. One was for the regular season, and then they changed the lyrics for the wild card. So we had to film a few different ones. So we were doing all these little takes here and there, and literally after every single take, she had a hair and makeup person that would come on stage and like primp her all up real quick and then watch. So yeah, she definitely was like all spiffed up, but man, she looked good. She looked real good.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
I'm pissed because I missed the day before they shot all the players, and my buddy was texting me all these videos of Gronkowski spiking the ball and Larry Fitzgerald like surfing the web on his laptop and stuff. So kind of jealous that I missed that. But yeah, Extreme Championship Podcast's own Shane Quinn will be gracing a living room near you in the upcoming football season.
Pretty cool, dude. I think that's it's a once in a lifetime. Hopefully not once in a lifetime. Hopefully you become famous, get an agent, and become the dude in the background of various air guitar band sequences.
That'd be awesome. I would love to be the air guitar guy.
Oh my
and
God.
Then eventually, when I hit my mid to late 30s, I fall into some sort of drug-induced stupor, become fat, bloated, vomit, lose all my money in Vegas, and then sort of have to rebuild my life. So I'm excited.
I think the way that works is eventually one of these starlets comes onto you, and you develop a short-term relationship. Let's say it's with Taylor Swift, because she's of the age now. Say maybe like 6 years from now, you fall into a relationship with Taylor Swift. You become relatively famous in the tabloids, things like that. That
would be fun. Maybe I could even marry her and then divorce her promptly.
So it's going to end. That's the point, and then that's when you fall into more or less into a mountain of cocaine, and you do a lot of late night shouting at bars at people, telling them that I used to be married to Taylor Swift, and then people.
I was on the Sunday Night Football intro.
Someone kicked that homeless asshole out of here. Yeah.
Well, yeah. If that's the life that I end up mapping out for myself, I feel like looking back on it in hindsight, I would have to deem it a success.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot more than most people can say. Most people are just like me, and you go to your boring job every day and consider sneaking into the bathroom and hanging yourself with your Dockers belt from a stall. You don't do that because you're too afraid to end it. But you just kind of drag through life until you retire. And
You also don't want to ruin a perfectly good reversible Dockers belt that you paid $30 for.
no, you don't.
You can wear it with brown and black shoes because it's
So-
reversible.
Here's a good belt story. My parents recently went on a cruise in Europe. Speaking of belts,
Speaking of, I got a belt story for you.
I thought you'd never segue. So my parents went on a cruise to Europe, and they went to Italy in one of the stops, and they bought me this nice Italian leather belt. Thought I was going to be hot shot wearing it around. Turns out it's too big. The smallest size I can shrink it down to and tighten it up to is too big for me. So I can't figure out if I should be happy about that because I'm not as fat as they thought I was, or I should be sad because I don't have this nice Italian belt. Excitement.
Well, that sure was a good belt story.
As far as belt stories go, it's
I can think of some way better belt stories.
hey, fair to Midland.
But this is a family podcast, so
we're not talking about heroin injections and things like that. Tying off.
autoerotic asphyxiation.
Ooh, chair.
Ooh, what a Russia!
Speaking of belts and choking, and I went to a Metallica festival. It was
I didn't know
so
where
much
you were
fun.
going with that. I didn't know if you were going with like LeBron James or something, but
What?
the choking and I don't know.
So while you were busy hanging out with Faith Hill staring at her butt, I was busy hanging out with 30,000 other fat, disgusting metalheads in a field in Atlantic City at the Orion Music and More Festival. And it was really cool. There's a lot of good bands there. Sepultura was there, like good metal bands, a Black Dahlia Murder, some death metal, Arctic Monkeys, like some kind of more mainstream stuff. They were really, really, really good.
I heard they put on a
Best band.
really good live show.
I went to see Black Keys and Arctic Monkeys earlier this year, and I just missed them almost entirely. And then they were the last band to go on before Metallica on Saturday, and I went over and watched most of the set, and it was very, very good. Lars came out and introduced
the
them.
main guy in that band, I forget what his name is, Alex Wilson, I don't know, something. He has like a side project that's called The Last of the Shadow Puppets. And it's really cool. It's not quite as poppy as Arctic Monkeys, but same sort of vibe. You should check it out.
I will.
Some
Thanks.
good stuff right
Appreciate that. Yeah, but the Metallica show, so Metallica headlined both nights, and the first night they played, for the first time ever, Ride the Lightning in its entirety from back to front. So they had like a cool...
That is just awesome.
It was so awesome. They had a cool intro, and then they played the whole album, and it was the first time... This album came out in 1984, I think, or 1983, and it was the first time they'd ever played the song Escape live, which is a pretty good song, actually. It's actually really like a poppy, like a nice kind of catchy chorus, but...
That's awesome. I love when bands do that, especially bands that have been together for years, and Metallica's never played that song live, and they're like, well, we're doing Ride the Lightning, and we're gonna have to learn how to play this song live. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was
on
cool.
that subject. I just saw something came across Twitter earlier today where I guess Eddie Vedder is letting like some super Pearl Jam fan, like write their entire set list for an upcoming show. How cool is that?
That's pretty cool.
Imagine if
how
you
many
were
times have
able
you
to
thought
like
about
write
that?
up a band set list that you've loved for years.
I can't tell you how many times every time I go to a concert, every time you go to a concert of a band you really like I hope they play this and that, and I wish I could. Yeah, you wish you could do that every concert you go to if you really like.
Have
the
you
band.
been to that website setlist.fm?
Have I?
that is the greatest website in existence, and I love how they link. So basically, it's this website that maps out. It basically records set lists for every band that play for the most part. It's pretty up to date. So like say a major band like Metallica goes on tour, they will have every set list from the tour, and they'll have little links to YouTube videos, so you can just click play on the first song, and it will sort of like play the set list for you. It's pretty rad.
Yeah, no, that website is great, and they have the show up. They'll have the show up before it even starts that day, and then they'll update it as the show carries. It's real time, pretty much. Yeah, but the Metallica shows were really cool. So you could buy individual day passes. So they played some of the same songs both nights. So the first night they played Ride the Lightning, and the second night to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Black Album, they played the Black Album back to front. But both nights they open up with Hit the Lights, the first song off Kill 'Em All, Master of Puppets, and then they had some different, like the first night they played the Four Horsemen, which couldn't really have asked for. That first night's set list was just filthy.
Dave Mustaine's Coup de Grace.
Oh, it was so good. And
wait, I don't think Coup de Grace was the right word there. Dave Mustaine's magnum opus.
magnum opus. That's fair. But these
Coupe de Gras.
never give him
Dumbass.
credit for it. Yeah, I mean, whatever. But he also got, what were the other hidden, I almost said hidden gems, but deep cuts. The Shortest Straw from Injustice for All. That was awesome.
Awesome.
That's one of my jams, one of my little jammy jams from Metallica. That came out the second night.
Did you participate in the mosh pit, Weber?
No, because I bought the adult VIP tickets and I was on a
Of
special
course you did,
platform.
because you're an adult.
I actually, I'm an idiot, but I actually said that at the hotel. We were leaving the hotel and I was trying to split a cab. Atlantic City, by the way, the filthiest, scariest ghetto I've been to in America.
Yeah, Atlantic City's pretty rough, man. You know, I've been out in LA. I'm from the East Coast, and I've been out in LA since I was about 21 years old, 22 years old. So my casino experience has pretty much been Vegas, you know what I mean? I never really went to Atlantic City that much when I lived back east, and the idea of moving back east and not being able to go to Las Vegas whenever I want kind of sucks, because my substitute is going to be Atlantic City, and I've just heard nothing but horror stories and how shitty Atlantic City really is.
And sadly, I'm going back there this Friday for another bachelor party.
Excellent. You just couldn't get enough.
I left my shirt, one of my shirts at the hotel, and I called and they have it, and they're like, we can ship this. Oh, no need. I will actually be back to your godforsaken city in a week.
Why are you going back there, for work?
My friend's bachelor party for work. Yeah, right. My friend's bachelor party, other friend decided to have it in Atlantic City, and it's like, Jesus Christ. The boardwalk's nice. They have some nice casinos. They have one really nice casino, and if you go about 2 blocks away from the boardwalk, it is World War III ghetto, just disgusting. And I stayed at a hotel. I mean, it's cool because it's on the ocean. Like, I was in a nice like high-rise hotel, and you get the casinos on one side and the ocean on the other, and it's kind of nice. But man, that place is filthy. I don't want to go back there. I will say that the Metallica concert, great venue. It was just at an airfield, like abandoned airfield. They have 4 different stages. They had like a museum with all these different, old guitars. But yeah. The show was super cool.
Speaking of filthy, so I'm on right now. I'm online. I like to, be able to look up stats real quick or whatever when we're filming this podcast, and something just crawled across my Twitter feed. At Rolling Stone, we asked you to submit your favorite Katy Perry videos. Here are the top 5 that made the cut. This is the Rolling Stone magazine. Now, I ask you, Weber, has there ever been a bigger downward spiral for any magazine?
But here's my response to that. I understand where you're coming from, but was it really ever different, or were we just younger and we were kind of just like more into, we didn't have these kind of,
I guess maybe it's just a commentary on pop music in general, but maybe pop music just used to be better. But yes, I think it did used to be different. I mean, this is the magazine that's in charge of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. So
the band asking fans to pick their top Katy Perry videos.
Well,
I mean, this is the corporation that makes or breaks who gets into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's a committee of Rolling Stone douches.
Well, I mean, all that stuff is corporate controlled, and I mean, it's the same thing as the Grammys, and hey, the only rock and roll band anyone knows of, according to the Grammys, is the Foo Fighters, and the Foo Fighters are great, but it's just bullshit year after year. But I mean, fuck it. I don't know. I mean, what are you going to do?
All I'm saying is I can't wait for Rolling Stone to come out and tell me the top 100 guitar riffs of the past 75 years, because they're definitely the authority on the matter. I love how whenever that's like, and that's always like, well, Rolling Stone named this the top guitar solo of all time, and it's a fucking Bob Dylan at number 1 and Hendrix at number 2. You could literally give me any top 100 list, and I guarantee you Bob Dylan is number 1, Beatles are number 2, Kurt Cobain's somewhere in the top 5.
Oh yeah, because Kurt Cobain had some really blazing guitar solos. I love
Kurt
Nirvana,
Cobain
but
shreds.
really?
Kurt Cobain is a monster.
Yeah,
shredding tasty licks.
I don't know if it was the last one they did, but the top 100 songs of all time, or whatever. Bob Dylan, Like a Rolling Stone, number 1. Like, if you're Rolling Stone, do you read that and say, "Wait a minute, we probably shouldn't do this"? We probably shouldn't do this. You literally shit your credibility right out the window or into the toilet or wherever you point your bum. You get rid of it right then and there.
Point your bum.
I feel like
anyway.
I feel like an asshole. No pun intended for saying that.
No good motherfucker.
Sorry.
That
We
magazine
can cut it out in post. Just cut it out.
fucking joke.
I can't. It's
fucking joke.
It's a liberal rag. It really is the worst thing.
We need to start out our own magazine with hot music takes to go along with our hot sports takes.
There's plenty of good music magazines, I guess.
Dude, Spin sucks. Spin is like hipster central. Even the online like Pitchfork and stuff. It's just all indie rock garbage.
Metal
And
Hammer.
some of it's not garbage, but I mean, it's when you just cater to such a specific pocket of music and like it's a specific image. It's just it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, it kind of blows the whole idea of journalism is that you're kind of at least pretend to be objective, but if you openly cater to a bias kind of repeatedly, it's just, this is not really someplace I can get a open and credible opinion, particularly if you're reviewing music. So if you lean towards a certain kind of music and then you're reviewing music,
man.
it's
Music record reviewers are just the worst, the bane of existence as far as I'm concerned.
I remember when
I don't need to hear what some douchebag that lives in a basement, one bedroom, flea-ridden apartment in Williamsburg has to say about the new fucking Ting Ting album. Go fuck yourself.
that was perfect.
Speaking of pick of the week and reviewing records, we're going to debut a new segment on Extreme Championship Podcast this week, which we haven't really aptly named yet, but I guess we're going to call it ECP's Pick of the Week. Pick of the Week. That's all I got right now.
Pick of the week.
Yeah. Anyway, there's this band called King out of Los Angeles. I'm not sure if they are from Los Angeles or they just formed in Los Angeles, but they are a Los Angeles band, KYNG, and the shit is fucking rocking, Weber. These guys sound like old Soundgarden almost, like Louder Than Love era, you know what I mean? The guy's got the Cornell thing going on with his vocals. They're very it's heavy, but they're good songs. It really reminds me of like late 80s, early 90s, that sort of grunge and metal mesh, early Soundgarden, early Alice in Chains, that style of stuff. So do yourself a favor. We're going to play a little snippet right now, but check out the band King, KYNG.
Most of the music I hear nowadays driving around with my girlfriend is top 40. Top 40 radio is pretty funny because there are literally 5 songs that you'll hear all day long. I know that it's bad.
The worst fucking Clear Channel, man. Clear Channel just destroyed music and radio and everything.
Yeah.
You heard they just bought out, obviously, for all you New Englanders, WFNX in Boston was the bastion of rock radio in Boston, the last real rock and roll station in Boston, and it went the way of the dinosaurs when Clear Channel purchased it a couple of weeks ago with the intent to kill it. Fired all the DJs that had been on forever, and word just came out yesterday that they're turning it into a Republican talk station with Rush and Sean Hannity and Glenn Beck and all those cocksuckers. So there you go. That's where all our rock radio stations are going now. Thanks, Clear Channel.
Yep. Goodbye, radio.
Evan Weber, as you know, this is one of my favorite parts of the show when we talk old school wrestling. So this is just a warning to all you motherfuckers that don't know what we're talking about or don't subscribe to our beliefs and our way of life. You can go ahead and tune out right now.
No good motherfucker.
But the Raw 1000th episode is coming up in short time. What are we at right now, Weber? Is it next week? Is it 2 weeks from now?
Don't have a clue. Don't have a clue, but it's coming up soon, and this is the moment where we switch from sports to sports entertainment.
Yes, sir. It's July 23rd.
Okay, so that's coming up.
We got a couple more weeks, but we figured we would start leading up to the Raw Super Show, the 1000th episode. Did you know, Weber, if you were to watch every single episode of Monday Night Raw back to back, 24/7 without stopping, it would take you over 75 days to watch them all?
I didn't know that. I was trying to think of a witty comeback or a response to that, and I don't have one. That's,
Well, now you know.
pretty interesting.
Longest running episodic television show of all time.
The real question is, how many times would you masturbate during that whole process if you were someone who, number one, would sit through 75 days of Raw and the WWE divas that are involved?
Depends on how many bra and panties battle royals there were.
Yeah, well, that's a good question.
I'd probably for the first like 4 years of Raw, I probably wouldn't masturbate at all, and then from like 97 to 2002, probably frequently, and then I'd probably be tired.
From the introduction of Sunny.
Yes,
It's probably
exactly.
where things would kick off into high gear. Yeah, in 1993, would that be...
Sable with the hand boobs?
Am I right? Oh, that's 1998. That's when mid... So when did Raw start? Was it like 1992, 91?
Raw started in 1993, I believe. Early 93.
And I think at that
That
point...
should have been one of the trivia questions, God damn it.
Well, we just discussed that, so that's knowledge for the listeners. Just hang on to it, tuck that in tight, and keep it close to the heart. So is that sensational Sherry at that point?
Close to the vest.
Close to the vest, to the heart. Keep that close to the steroid-induced bicep.
I guess Miss Elizabeth was probably still around in 93. There was some masturbating material there.
Was she? Oh, wow. I think... No, I don't know, though, because Savage was the color guy. Savage
was the color guy.
announcer.
He was the original color guy for Raw. Him and Vince, right?
Yeah. So Elizabeth was probably gone. I don't know. It was a shortage of... Think about that WrestleMania, the Caesar's Palace one. Who were the female valets? Like, who was...
Sensational Sherry.
She was there with Shawn Michaels. That's what it was. She was with Shawn.
Elizabeth, Savage.
Who was it? Was Elizabeth with who? With Mega Power?
Savage.
With Savage? Oh.
Did Savage? I don't know.
You didn't know it. Savage,
You realize
Savage
that we just
called that
mentioned,
WrestleMania.
4 former wrestlers, and 3 of them are dead.
I mean,
Sherry, Elizabeth, and Savage all succumbed.
Oh, really? What happened to Elizabeth and Sherry? I may have heard of that, but I can't think of it now. Like, as to what?
Elizabeth died of like an overdose of something, and I think Sherry died of the same thing.
Well, I should have just known that.
To be expected.
Didn't Randy Savage, God bless him, didn't he have a heart attack while driving and then speed across 7 lanes of traffic? And
Yeah.
Cream of the crop! Nobody does it better.
Yeah, I think he had a heart attack while driving, and then just his car was like drove off the highway, and I think his wife was with him in the car, but she was okay. I think the heart attack killed him, not the driving across 7 lanes of traffic and crashing.
that is a
flipping his SUV.
macho king fatality.
All right, hey, let's get into the actual Raw trivia, huh? What do you say?
Bringo, let's do it.
What do you say? What do you say, kid? All right,
guy.
You want me to deliver the first bomb?
Hit me.
All right, toss it over your way. All right, Evan Weber. What was the first ever title match on Monday Night Raw? Name the title and just one of the participants. You don't have to name both of them. And remember, this was like early 93.
Yeah, I'm going to go Intercontinental Shawn Michaels.
You got it.
Kiss my ass!
All right. That was a total guess, but...
Can you name the other participant?
I'm going to say it was probably early 1993. So I would say Bret Hart, but he was the actual champion, world champion, so it wouldn't have been him.
You're not going to get this one. It was.
No. Let me try to...
Okay.
Now you said meh, so I'm trying to figure out what that would be.
Hopefully it starts with a meh.
Give me
Matt Bourne, motherfucker.
Matt Bourne. No.
I'm kidding. It wasn't Matt Bourne.
Oh, doink. No. Let me just go out and say
off. You were at the
Crush.
original WrestleMania trivia we did. The Matt Bourne. That set you off on a tangent. Who was the only wrestler to appear at both WrestleMania 1 and WrestleMania 10?
Oh man. 1 and 10. Bam Bam. No.
No.
Bret Hart.
No.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I have no clue.
It's actually Matt Bourne, who appeared
you.
in
What the
WrestleMania
fuck
1
is that?
and lost to Ricky Steamboat.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
And then WrestleMania 10, he appeared as Doink the Clown and tagged with
fuck
Dink
you. Go
and
fuck
lost
yourself.
to Bam Bam and Luna.
I'm gonna destroy you with this next question.
You absolutely suck.
I did. I'm gonna say Crush.
No, it was Max Moon.
Is that did he? Was that a gimmick of someone else that I would know? Like a?
I don't think so. He was just like this weirdo that wore like a spacesuit. So I don't think he was ever anyone famous after that.
All right. Well,
But you got the question. You
I
got
did.
it. Good job.
I did. Thanks. Appreciate it. I'm gonna throw one at you now. Ready? On February 28th, 2000, there was a Raw, like many other Raws, Monday evening, and a one Mae Young gave birth. What did she give birth to? Was not a human.
It was a hand.
That was an easy one, huh?
Yeah, it was a hand. You know who actually wrote that sketch? And I think this came out sort of recently. Stephanie McMahon came out and admitted that one of the writers for Monday Night Raw was also a writer for Conan O'Brien, and he was the one that wrote that segment, which is notoriously known as one of the worst segments of all time in wrestling history.
So do you think he was saying to himself, how ridiculous can I make this garbage? Like what can I get away with?
How much shit can I throw at a table and these fucking stupid fans will eat it up? Yeah, probably.
That's great.
Most likely.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was
Now,
so weird.
Staying in that same era, what city did D-Generation X invade WCW's Monday Nitro?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Dead wrong.
Really? Ooh.
Yeah, it was Norfolk, Virginia.
Norfolk.
Yep, Norfolk. What is it, Norfolk?
Norfolk. Yeah, Norfolk.
Norfolk?
But
How about you Norfolk yourself?
I do all the time. There's not enough streaming pornography in the world for me to fuck myself as much as I want to. Yeah, no, I was actually going to do a question about that too. That was pretty cool, actually. I remember watching that and thinking, this is hip. This is something I'm going to think about when I'm playing my PlayStation WWF Raw video game later on this evening.
They were down the street in Hampton, Virginia, I believe, and it was when WCW was still winning the ratings battle, but D-Generation X.
Hang on a second. I'm getting a call.
Okay.
I think I'm good.
Sweet.
All right, so we were. You asked
I
me
believe-
the date. I think it was something about the WCW winning the ratings battle and when that ended.
I think it was the Monday Nitro,
Yes.
the invasion.
Oh, right. The DX invasion of Monday Nitro. See, that's when
Yes.
DX was really cool. That was a nice piece of the Attitude Era. So let's talk about the building blocks of the Attitude. Austin, obviously the centerpiece, but there's a lot of good pieces around that. The Rock, obviously coming into his own. DX.
Mr. Ass.
Mr. Ass, a big part of really wrestling history, I'd say.
Absolutely. Honestly, China.
China, yeah.
Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon, Stone Cold. Vince McMahon, the best single character of the Attitude Era, no question.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
And then honestly, man, a lot of the Attitude Era was ECW. A lot of the Attitude Era was taken from ECW. And a lot of the guys that made it big in the Attitude Era, like Austin and like Mick Foley, had stints in ECW right before they went and signed with the WWF, and sort of brought that same mentality and that same vibe, the reality sort of style to the WWF, to the Big Show. So I'd say, and they even had that ECW invasion, that one episode in New York when all the ECW guys came on the show and Jerry Lawler was talking trash to everyone. And
yeah, and we were at an age too where that was the coolest thing to me that could have happened. It was
and I think that's why the invasion was so cool. That's why that DX invasion was such a big deal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that segues into one of my trivia questions, which you kind of already touched on, so you probably know this, but what was the year that ECW first invaded Raw? You mentioned it already. So
97, I believe.
That's it. Got it. I remember that. Yeah, and I was like, "What is this?" And I think that's when
that
I
was
first.
Awesome.
That's when I first started watching ECW on the Spanish language channel at 1 a.m. on Saturday.
Oh yeah,
nights.
public access, baby. And then remember when ECW had that deal with TNN for a little while?
I went to a ECW TNN taping in New Hampshire.
Really?
Yes, and I'm on. If I still have that VHS tape, I'm super crazy. Did a moonsault into the crowd and just about landed on me and my friends, and we're all.
Oh, that is awesome. The bigger question: do you actually still have a VHS player?
That's a great question. The answer, of course, is no. I had one, and it was a very old one that one of my friend's parents kept for a long time for some reason. So it wasn't even like a newer VHS
I feel like,
player.
dude, I had so many awesome VHS tapes that I either threw out or lost. I should go down to Goodwill and grab myself a VCR and see what kind of great stuff I can come up with digging through the old attic.
I and my good friend Joe have an enormous amount of wrestling VHS tapes. Our own Backyard Wrestling Federation, and then also a number of RF video wrestling tapes. Do you own a number of those? Or did you purchase Best of Sabu,
absolutely.
Best of
All the
RVD?
shoot interviews. Well, I know what we're doing. I know what we're doing for an entire day or perhaps 2 days when I come to visit Boston this year.
Is just watching those?
Yeah, I'll bring the VCR. You bring the tapes. I'll bring the Cheddar Wursts and Bud Light Platinums.
Platinums. I haven't had a BL Num in a while. They're kind of not kind
they're
of.
Pretty good, actually. They're not bad.
I think they're awful. I mean, it's
really?
It's more about the kick than it is about the flavor.
They're not bad. I think I don't know. They taste less like water. They taste more like beer, I feel, than a regular Bud Light.
I'm actually sipping on a Bud Light, not Platinum, a Bud Light regular Gold right now.
A Bud Light Common Man?
A Common Man Bud Light. Yeah, it's a pretty crappy beer.
Bud Light Blue Collar?
A Bud Light pickup truck 9 to 5.
A Bud Light Lava Soap?
Lava Soap. Yeah. All right, so hit me with the next question.
Right.
Next question, please.
What was the highest rated segment in the history of Monday Night Raw? And I'll give you bonus points if you can name the rating.
I'm going to guess the rating. I'll definitely take a stab at that. The highest rated segment in the history of Monday Night Raw had to have been the Owen Hart tribute, the Owen Hart death tribute. It was on the news.
But man, that's a really good answer. It's a good answer, but it's not it. But that's a good answer. I think that was
on
still,
the news.
I think
that was on the national news.
When they were still losing all the Monday night battles. I could be wrong though.
It was 99. It was after the
you're right.
Stone Cold Fury took the nation coast to coast.
No, you want to take another stab? Or I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah, I'll take another stab. So it wasn't Owen. So it was a storyline.
It wasn't like sort of tragedy or anything.
Yeah.
It was definitely lighthearted. Oh, speaking of, another great Raw moment that I forgot about was when the introduction of Mr. Sacco, when Miss McMahon was holed up in the hospital and Mick Foley was trying to cheer him up and brought in like a clown and whatnot. And then Austin gave him a catheter up the ass.
Bedpan McMahon. That was the best thing ever.
Yeah, that was amazing. And there's just the sound of the bedpan bouncing off his skull. He literally just like knocked him in the head with a friggin' bedpan,
and then
like a steel bedpan,
just repeatedly going no.
Yeah, and then I think the segment ended with Austin giving him an enema. And it was funny too because that was one of those segments where McMahon got beat up and there was no crowd noise or anything to provide white noise in the background. So yeah, it was just McMahon going like, "Oh God, no! Oh God! Oh no! No! Oh God!"
Yes. That was the only sound. And then Austin, I remember Austin saying,
Oh God, no, oh God, ah!
I specifically remember Austin saying, "Oh, you want your precious monitors?" And he was just like smashing them off his head.
I actually would liken the wrestling, like getting hit or being hurt in pro wrestling is a very similar sound to the sound NBA players make when they go to the rim and get fouled.
Paul Pierce does and men,
the same thing.
I was watching Wimbledon for some reason this morning because it was calm and it was
That
a
was
good
a
way
good match. That Andy Murray.
It was the Djokovic. I don't even and Federer one.
Yep, that was good.
It was good. But they make those sounds like. Okay, so I'm going back to the question here. I don't know.
Maybe that's a future Rage Cage.
Two male tennis players.
KG versus Kane. Steel cage.
Okay, let me back to the question.
I didn't even answer. Yeah, are you going to take another guess?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Sorry, we got off track there.
The Austin beer truck. I have no idea.
No, it was the This Is Your Life Rock.
This is
Your Life Rock. When Mick Foley threw this is Your Life for The Rock. Highest rated segment of all time. He brought back his old coach and like his old home economics teacher and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
And then The Rock just told them all off. It was pretty funny. But that garnered an 8.4 rating. And I remember it being a big thing because I think it beat like the NBA, like Eastern Conference Finals or Western Conference Finals were on that night. And the WWF, This Is Your Life, crushed it. So that was the highest segment of all time.
I got a trivia question for you. Whose theme music is this?
The World Wrestling Federation. For over
Not that.
50 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment.
Oh, yeah. Little fucking Ahmed Johnson.
Fucking man.
That is Ahmed, right?
Yeah. That guy was awesome. What happened?
He just kept getting injured, I think.
that theme
He's the
music
type
is
of guy that you
righteous.
can tell is probably like 400 pounds at this point. You know what I mean? Because he was always just jacked, but you know that all of that turned into complete fat. He's probably one of LeBron James's bouncers at this point.
I'm on YouTube and they're like the top comments that are liked the most. There's just one that says "My nigga" that has 29 likes. I'm sorry, that's great. Oh, Ahmed, what happened to you? I feel like he came in and body slammed Yokozuna, and that was like the big thing, introducing him.
Did he body slam Yokozuna?
I think so. I think that was when
He must have
showed up.
He must have at some point.
Oh, all right. I'm going to give you a trivia question that is more of just a question as to whatever happened. I'd stop watching wrestling at this point.
Wait, I think it's my turn to ask you.
Go. Shoot. You're right.
All right. Final. No, this is not the final question. It's the second to last. All right. Monday Night Raw had a ratings win streak of 84 consecutive weeks from 97 to 98. Actually, I think it started in late 96. The whole NWO thing. What was the main event on Raw that night that Raw took the ratings war back to Vinnie Mac and the WWF?
So this is April 13th.
April 13th, 1998. What was the main event on Raw that night when the WWF took back the ratings war from WCW Monday Nitro?
I'm going to say that it was Austin versus McMahon.
You would be correct, sir.
Yes. And then it it didn't happen. There was some weird, McMahon said that he would fight him, and then some sketchiness happened, like Kane came out or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
I feel like I need to look that up. Was that when Austin? Remember the night after he won that? So that was after WrestleMania because the night
the Bang 316.
Yeah, Bang
316.
316.
Oh, yeah. When
But
he took McMahon hostage and he pissed his pants.
I think that WrestleMania was the end of March because what happened is the night after WrestleMania, the Austin McMahon thing hadn't really formalized. Like he had that one promo where Michael Cole or JR was interviewing Vince McMahon and they were saying, "How do you feel about Stone Cold Steve Austin as the WWF champion?" And he's like, "Oh, I'll give you a big hell no." Or like, do you want him to be the champion? And then he tried to present him with the belt the night after WrestleMania, and then Austin just gave him a stunner, and then he got arrested. That happened a lot. I feel like during that 3-month period after
So a lot of getting arrested.
just
Stone Cold
arrest
Steve
him. Just arrest him. Arrest my employee for doing his
Another
job.
good one was the night that he filled the Corvette up with cement. McMahon's nice white Corvette. He just dumped the cement truck.
There was a lot of commandeering of various vehicles and just a lot of destruction of property.
Yes, a lot of destruction of property.
Well, let's think. 13 to 15-year-olds are our core demographic. What do they like to do and see? Break stuff, vandalism, crotches, boobs. Just suck it, mom and dad. Suck it, history teacher. Suck it.
They need to go back to that.
They really should.
That was fantastic.
I don't know exactly who they're trying, like what the angle is now. I gotta say, I don't quite.
They're like walking that line between PC and, but dude, it's as popular as it's ever been right now. It really is.
Is it really?
Yeah, man. I mean, people love it. Dude, did you see WrestleMania? That shit was like, there was like 80 something thousand people.
Yeah, but there's always people at WrestleMania.
I'm gonna look up Monday Night Raw 2012 ratings.
While you do, how about a little bit of this?
Xbox.
Think you can tell us what to do?
What to wear?
Think you can tell us what to wear? You better. Wear your ready. Bow to the master.
They had a little caption come up on the YouTube video that's out of his mouth that said "suck it."
All right, so it's averaging about, dude, it's still pulling like 4.9 ratings.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I guess it's still very popular.
Yeah, 4.9. That's a pretty big number.
You know who's the reason for that? Who do you think actually pulls that rating?
John Cena.
Yeah. I mean, you actually beat me to the actual song. But... Yep. John Cena, the man himself. Wait, so
Glad you guys could join us for Extreme Championship Podcast's first annual YouTube Wrestling Theme Music Sing-Along.
oh, this video is very funny. Yeah.
Right.
What? What? Who is it? Yeah. Oh. Well, what? Who is he? All right.
She would love me, but I also appeal to Marines.
Your mom loves me. Your mom loves me because I work hard and I'm a stand-up dude. Your dad's okay with bringing you to the shows because I don't swear.
I'll go out of my way to sign you an autograph after the show.
I'll tell you, you can be whoever you want to be in life.
I wear chains and I rap, but I'm actually highly educated.
But
I like how he started off as a rapper and then he sort of morphed that into like a Marine, and now he just wears like jorts and fluorescent shirts.
I was reading.
It's his gimmick. He's like a stand-up dude that wears jorts.
Who wears jean shorts? Like, where do you even get those?
Wrestlers. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Dad boner.
Dad boner. The man. All right.
Okay.
I believe you have one more question.
Yes, and it's kind of more of just a discussion that I'd like to launch into.
All right. Well, you want me to give you my last question and then we can go into your discussion?
Yeah.
All right. Now, in 1993, the Heartbreak Kid was suspended from the WWF for steroids. Right. This is when the whole steroid allegations and lawsuit was going down on Vince McMahon. They said that he got suspended. He was the IC champ at the time. They said he was suspended because he failed to defend the belt a number of times in a certain period of time. So they held a battle royal on Monday Night Raw to crown a new Intercontinental Champion. My question to you, Evan the Human Happy Meal Weber, is...
Whoa, that was just rude.
My question to you, Evan Weber, is... Who won that Battle Royal?
The Intercontinental Championship Battle Royal. And what year was it again?
1993.
Ooh, yeah. Trying to think of what month was it again?
I do not know.
That's a big one because that makes me. I try to tie that year back to pay-per-views.
Right,
That
I'll
was
look
kind
it
of a
up.
black
Just
year for me.
Don't use this time to Google, you son of a bitch.
Ooh, yeah. Razor Ramon. I don't know.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Razor Ramon.
So then
And
Shawn Michaels won it back.
on him, and that led to the
Ladder match.
ladder match at WrestleMania. Yep. There you go.
The Human Happy Meal. I like that one, actually. It's pretty funny.
It's pretty good, right?
It's pretty funny. My last question. This is more of an intro into a discussion. I'm
right.
just confused. This is relatively recently when Rob Van Dam was still in the WWF, WWE, whatever you want to call it. Vince McMahon, I remember flipping through the channels, and I really never watched it at all in this period. Vince McMahon at one point was the ECW World Champion. What happened? How did that happen? What was the storyline? I was reading into this a bit today, and he apparently lost the title to someone and then was all depressed, and they had a promo backstage where he got into a limo and the limo exploded into flames. Do you have any reference of this? Like, what was happening at this point in wrestling?
Okay. Now, I was not watching wrestling at this point in time.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
I believe what happened. Remember, they had when the WWF bought out ECW and the WCW. They turned ECW into some Tuesday night show on the Sci-Fi Network for a little while. Do you remember that?
I do.
At all?
And it was like a farm league type of thing. It wasn't particularly extreme.
No, it wasn't extreme at all. It was pretty stupid. It was just a way they had all these old school ECW guys under contracts, like Tommy Dreamer and stuff, and they weren't getting opportunities to wrestle on Raw or any of the shows because they didn't have any room or storylines for them. So they were like, "Oh, let's create this ECW show, and we can use it to put these guys that we have under contract, and we can also use it to build up young stars." Like I remember Jack Swagger was like their big guy. They were building up. He was the champ for a while. Now, I think that there must have been some stupid angle where Vince McMahon won the title somehow. And then, yeah, his limo, he went back into his limo and it exploded. And it was this big angle. And no one knows what was going to happen or what the original direction of the story was, what the outcome was supposed to be. Because I believe it was like a month or a few weeks after Vince McMahon's limo blew up. It was when Chris Benoit killed his wife and young child and then hung himself in his house. And I believe they deemed the whole Vince McMahon blowing up thing too distasteful and whatnot. Yeah, so basically the whole Chris Benoit strategy put that angle to a screeching halt. Do we have one more? That's about it.
That's it for me. We both did, okay with these questions, but we can't get enough.
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in. The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
All right, buddy. Well, that wraps it up for this week's this week and a half's edition of Extreme Championship Podcast.
This month.
Yeah, we will return next month with a brand new Cage Rage and other awesome, hilarious content, audio content for the soul.
Until next time, enjoy yourself and don't die doing drugs and lighting fireworks. It's past the 4th. Don't die before the next show.
Just don't die.
Have a good one.
Peace.